So WrestleMania, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Now, this match has been teased for over a year now. And basically, the story that's been told is that Becky has been wearing herself out before the big match at Mania. She's in all these matches with Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, won the chamber match, right? So it's possible that Becky is not going to be 100% to face Rhea. Rhea Ripley has not wrestled at all in the build up to WrestleMania. So that gives her, from a storyline context, the edge to beat Becky Lynch at Mania. Well, that's not the only reason. The main reason why Becky Lynch shouldn't beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania is because it's too early to take that title off of Rhea Ripley. Even though she's been champion for over, well, not over a year, but she's been champion for close to a year now. But there's still a lot left for Rhea Ripley to do as women's world champion. There's still a lot more feuds that we can get out of her title reign. Now, when it comes to Rhea Ripley's stock, she has been on the rise. She has been doing her best work right now. In the Judgment Day, you can tell when it comes to her promos, they've definitely gotten better. She's more comfortable in the ring. She found her character. She found who she is. Um, I think at this point it's very hard to boo Rhea Ripley because she's just over. Simple as that. She's just over. And I can see a situation playing out at WrestleMania that Becky could get booed. I could see that happening. I can see Becky Lynch getting booed and them cheering for Rhea Ripley because when it comes to who's more interesting as a character, the man or mommy, Rhea Ripley is more interesting as a character than Becky Lynch is. At this point, we already know when it comes to Becky Lynch, her time has passed. Her time has passed. She's no longer the the same woman she was in 2019. She's not as over as she was in 2018, 2019. Those were Becky Lynch's best years. So when it comes to Rhea Ripley, it's her time. It's her time. Becky winning the women's world title would make no sense. No sense at all. It's not going to feel like a big deal. You know, if she would have just beat Rhea Ripley, it just wouldn't feel right. You know, I feel like that win should belong to someone that is going to be built up for the future, like a Jay Cargill, right? They could build her up to be the one to beat Rhea Ripley ultimately. But Becky Lynch is not the one. She's not it. This should be a very good match. Don't get me wrong, but the outcome should be Rhea Ripley winning. I mean, if you had her beat Charlotte, then you got to have her beat Becky. It's the same thing with Bianca Belair's um, rise to the top. She beat two of the four horsewomen at WrestleMania back to back. Sasha Banks, WrestleMania 37, and beat Becky Lynch, WrestleMania 38. So Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, they're kind of on the same level right? Their careers are paralleled. Personally, I would have loved to see Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley at this year's WrestleMania. But we got what we got with Becky and Rhea at the end of the day. So it comes to Rhea Ripley. She beat Charlotte at WrestleMania 38, not 38, 39 last year. So it would make sense for her to beat Becky at this year's Mania back to back. She top right now. She got momentum. Um, she's probably the only one in the Judgment Day that's going to retain her title. I could see Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest losing the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Rhea is the only dominant member of Judgment Day that that always wins her matches. She is the winner of that group, which after WrestleMania, I can definitely see Rhea Ripley going her separate ways from Judgment Day. And at this point, Rhea to me is bigger than the Judgment Day. So, man, I can just tell you that crowd is going to be very loud for Rhea Ripley. Like, watch out for that. Watch out for that crowd, man. They are going to boo Becky Lynch, and they're going to be cheering Rhea Ripley. That crowd, that Philly crowd, is going to be turning Rhea Ripley babyface officially. Or they could surprise us and do a double turn where Becky has to cheat to beat Rhea Ripley. She realizes that she can't beat Rhea just by playing it fair. So she has to play dirty. She gotta, you know, she has to cheat to win. She has to find a loophole to get the W. So I could see a situation like that playing out to where Becky turns heel, like they do a double turn, crowd completely turns on Becky, and the crowd is for Rhea. But Becky cheats to beat Rhea, and she wins the title. Now that's the only way I can actually accept this outcome is if Becky's going to do a heel turn and she wins the title that way by cheating. So I can see that playing out because at this point, man, Rhea Ripley, it's not going to work with her as a heel. It's the same thing with China back then. China was a heel with DX, and then she eventually broke out and became a big baby face. She was on her own. The crowd loved her. The fans loved her. She was over. I could see that being the case with Rhea Ripley, where she breaks away from the Judgment Day. Either regardless if she retains or she loses the title, I could see her leaving the Judgment Day behind and going solo. So that could definitely happen at WrestleMania. But Becky Lynch does not need to beat Rhea at all. It just wouldn't feel right if Becky were to take the women's world title off of Rhea Ripley as a babyface. Especially the fans are going to reject it. It's Rhea's time right now. She deserves a longer reign with that title, and she should definitely, get the Gunther treatment, the Roman Reigns treatment, right? Your two longest reigning champions right now is Gunther and Roman Reigns. And I think Rhea Ripley should be the another case of being a longest reigning champion right now in the modern era. screw it. I would have Rhea Ripley hold on the Women's World Championship at least until SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania. I could see that being the case because when you look at that women's roster, there's no one that can beat Rhea Ripley. There's no one. I'm convinced, not even Becky Lynch, that there's no one that can beat Rhea Ripley right now. She has no competition. And in the long run, that could hinder her title reign. The only competition she has had thus far is Nia Jax and maybe Raquel Rodriguez, right? She had that one match with Natalia that was really, really, really good. Very good stuff. I would like to see those two run it back eventually. Natalia, Rhea Ripley. But we got to see how this Becky and Rhea match turns out. Like I said, this could be a really good match, but the crowd is not going to be supporting Becky Lynch. I'm predicting that they're going to turn on Becky Lynch and they're going to be cheering Rhea Ripley throughout the entire match. So ultimately, that's my prediction on this match. Rhea will retain. Um, Maybe this feud continues. Becky probably will beat Rhea Ripley down the line, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see anyone beating Rhea Ripley. Not a Liv Morgan. Um, if Bianca was going to face Rhea, I would probably have Bianca beat Rhea Ripley. That's probably the only one, along with Jay Cargill, that I could see that could defeat Rhea Ripley for that title. But Bianca and Jade, they're on SmackDown. So on the Raw side, there's there's essentially no one. Essentially, there's no one. Maybe Becky Lynch in the future, but right now, it ain't the time. So, with that being said, thank y'all for watching. Hit that like button for the algorithm. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Do you think Rhea's going to retain? Do you think Becky should beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania?